The graphic novel A Game of Thrones featuring only Daenerys' chapters, read by Josh with a Z, based on the novel by George R.R. Martin, adapted by Daniel Abraham, with art by Tommy Patterson and letters by Marshall Dillon, colors by Ivan Nunes, and the cover by Mike S. Miller. This is beauty. Touch it. Caress it. The cloth was so smooth it seemed to run through her fingers like water. She could not remember wearing anything so soft. It frightened her. Is it really mine? A gift from Magister Illyrio. The color will bring out your eyes. Tonight you will look like a princess. A princess. She had forgotten what that was like. Or perhaps she had never known. Why does he give us so much? Illyrio is no fool. The Magister knows I will not forget my friends when I come into my throne. Magister Illyrio was a dealer in spices, dragonbone, and other less savory things. It was said he'd never had a friend he wouldn't cheerfully sell for the right price, but she knew better than to question her brother when he wove his webs of dream. The slaves will come to bathe you, to wash off the stink of the stables. Khal Drogo's looking for a different kind of mount tonight. You will not fail me tonight. You don't want to wake the dragon, do you? No. When they write the history of my reign, sweet sister, they will say that it began tonight. Somewhere across the narrow sea lay a land of green hills and flowered plains and great rushing rivers. The Dothraki call it Reish Adali, the land of the Andals. The free cities talked of Westeros and the Sunset Kingdoms. Our land, her brother called it. Ours by right, taken from us by treachery, Vicerys said. But you do not steal from the dragon. The dragon remembers. And perhaps the dragon did remember. But Dany did not. Viserys had been a boy when they fled King's Landing to escape the advancing armies of the usurper, but Daenerys had only been a quickening in her mother's womb. Yet sometimes Dany would picture the way it had been. So often had her brother told the stories. Their brother Rhaegar battling the usurper in the bloody waters of the Trident and dying for the woman they both loved. The sack of King's Landing by the men Viserys called the usurper's dogs, the Lords Lannister and Stark. Princess Elia of Dorne pleading for mercy as Rhaegar's heir was ripped from her breast and murdered before her eyes. The polished skulls of the last dragon staring down sightlessly from the walls of the throne room while the Kingslayer opened her father's throat with a golden sword. She had been born on Dragonstone 9 moons after their flight, while a summer storm threatened to rip the island fastness apart. She did not remember Dragonstone either. The garrison had been prepared to sell them to the usurper. But one night, Sir William Derry and 4 loyal men had broken into the nursery and set sail under cover of darkness. They had lived in Braavos in a house with a big red door. She'd had her own room with a lemon tree growing outside of her window. When Sir William died, the servants stole what little money they had left, and soon after they had been put out of the big house. Dany had cried when the big red door had closed behind them forever. They had wandered since. Stand there. Turn around. Good. You look regal. May the Lord of Light shower you with blessings on this most fortunate day, Princess Daenerys. Khal Drogo will be enraptured. Thank you, Master Illyrio. Dany had always assumed that she and Viserys would wed. Dragons did not mate with beasts of the field, and Targaryens did not mingle their blood with lesser men. And yet now he schemed to sell her to a stranger, a barbarian. We won't need his whole Khalasar. 10,000 fighters would be enough. The realm will rise to its rightful ruler. Viserys of House Targaryen, the third of his name, King of the Andals and the Rhoynar, and the first man, Lord of the 7 Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm. His sister, Daenerys Stormborn, Princess of Dragonstone. Those 3 are Khal Drogo's blood riders, Lord Viserys. The other is Sir Jorah Mormont, a knight. The usurper wants his head, some trifling affront, selling poachers to slavers instead of giving them to the Night Watch. And that is the Khal himself. Wait here, I'll bring him to you. Drogo is so fine. Do you see his hair and the bells? I wish they would have put that in the show. This is a Patreon only part. Do you see how long his braid is? The Dothraki cut it off when men are defeated in combat. He has never been. I don't want to be his queen. Please. Please, Viserys. I want to go home. Home? They took our home from us. So how are we to go home? Smile and stand up straight. Let him see that you have breast. Your Highness, it is my honor to present Khal Drogo, your future husband. I am Daenerys Stormborn, Princess of Dragonstone, she told herself. As the hours of her wedding day passed, it was all she could do not to scream. She was afraid of the Dothraki, who seemed alien and monstrous, as if they were beasts in human skin. She was afraid of her brother, of what he might do if she failed him. Most of all, she was afraid of what would happen tonight when her brother gave her to Khal Drogo. I am the blood of the dragon. Adulos, Yutidrak, Oteko, Eseko, Ke. When the sun was low in the sky, the drums and the shouting of the feasting came to a sudden halt. It was time for her bride's gift, and after that, the first ride and the consummation of their marriage. Those are no common servants, sweet sister. Irdi and Jiki will teach you writing in Dothraki tongue. Dore, the arts of love. She's very good. I can swear to that. It is a small thing, my princess, but all a poor exile can afford. Histories and songs of the 7 kingdoms are written in the common tongue. Thank you, sir. Illyrio she knew could afford to be lavish. He had collected a fortune in his horses and slaves for his part in selling her. What are they? Dragon's eggs from the Shadowlands beyond Ashai. The eons have turned them to stone, but they still burn bright with beauty. I shall treasure them always. Other gifts she was given in plenty. Khal Drogo's blood riders offered her weapons, which tradition called for her husband to carry. Other Dothraki gave her slippers and jewels and silver rings for her hair. Jars of scent, painted vests, tiny bottles of purple glass, a gown made from the skin of 1,000 mice, and last of all, Khal Drogo brought forth his own bride's gift to her. This was no ordinary animal. There was something about her that took the breath away. Gray as winter with a mane like silver smoke. What should I do? Take the reins and ride. You need not go far. Praying that she would not fall off and disgrace herself, she gave the filly the lightest and most timid touch with her knees. The filly began to trot, and for the first time in hours, Dany forgot to be afraid. Or perhaps it was the first time ever. Tell Khal Drogo he has given me the wind. It is time. Go to him. Please him, sweet sister, or I swear you will see the dragon wake as it has never woken before. The fear came back to her then. I am the blood of the dragon, she told herself. I am the blood of the dragon. And the dragon was never afraid. She felt fragile as glass in his hands, her limbs weak as water. She began to cry. No. You speak the common tongue? No. Perhaps he had only that word, but it was one more than she had known he had. Somehow it made her feel a little better. No. 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 Yes. So initially this video wasn't gonna be uploaded to YouTube, but since I made it into such a visual thing, I decided why not? I'd share it with you guys if you like Game of Thrones. Here's a little snippet of my audition for audio record, or to be an audio book reader for comics specifically, or graphic novels. This is what this is for. I'm going to send this into wherever I can and hope that it's acceptable. It's my first time, so I'm just experimenting more or less with the voices and stuff. I've never done anything like this before, but it's a lot of fun. So if this is content that you're interested in, I'd love to add this kind of format to the all the stuff that I already do. So I just want to say thank you to my patrons really quick. I love you all so much for supporting me and everyone who watched this, because I know this is very different. It's heavily censored. If you want the uncensored version, that'll be on Patreon, of course. And there will be a part 2 for sure, because this isn't long enough. I thought this would be all that I needed, but it has to be at least 15 minutes long. This is clearly is not that. So there will be a part 2. And depending on how this does, I might just do the whole graphic novel series. Comment below if you might want me to do this with a manga or anything else that's preferably a graphic novel, because I like color, or any comics, preferably. But I'll do a manga if you like. But thank you for watching. I'll see you for the next one.